Hello and welcome back to the Crookedrivercast. I am Robert, and joining me every week is Tom, and we are just two guys from Northeast Ohio trying to figure out what day of the week it is. This is show 37, recorded on November 29, 2025. It's time to get over the Thanksgiving coma, because we've got some stuff to discuss. So let's go. Tom, how come my pants fit a little tighter this morning?
Yeah, mine too.
And my house smells like dead tree.
Oh, you went and got the Christmas tree, huh?
Yes. It was a tree day yesterday.
Nice.
And it was actually, all this snow, kept everybody away, it seems like. So that was a nice added touch. Our traditional tree dinner combination with the kids. Our live tree, which as the past 4 or 5 years, at least they're consistent, $5 to $10 a tree. They've gone up every year.
Really?
Yeah, I think we started at like $85, $90 a few years ago, and now we're at like $130.
Oh, so it's a cut tree.
Oh yeah, already cut.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the one you can go cut your own, but the best ones are really the ones I already cut. So that's what we decided. So we just go there, and they're nice. They cut it fresh for you. They wrap it in the little thing, throw it in the back of your car, wrap it on your hood, whatever you need to do. They're pretty good people. They got stuff for the kids there. You can cut your own if you want, but yeah.
Wrap it on your hood.
Well, not me, but they will if you know.
That's kind of weird. You can drive around with a tree on your hood.
Well, on the hood, that would be a little bit of a safety hazard. Now that you mention it, yeah.
On the roof, maybe.
Roof. Oh, it's been a long week, but a short week. It feels. All of a sudden, both of us went, "Oh crap, it's show day."
Yeah.
Feel very discombobulated for sure, but we will get through it as we always do. But yes, dead tree in the house. The dog's trying to figure out what the heck's going on again, and why it got evicted from its favorite spot in the living room. And we're gonna start decorating.
Oh, you didn't decorate it yet?
No, you got to get it in. Got it in yesterday, last night, and then you got to let it sit for a day or so before you got to let everything relax.
Oh, I see.
Before you can really put lights on it, even. But usually at 24 hours or so. So later today or tomorrow, we'll start putting lights on, and then over the next week, we'll probably start decorating a little bit here and there. It's just all depends on what the kids feel like doing. And speaking of, I don't know, something, holiday week wasn't the most happy-go-lucky week as ever, because we've had some issues in DC. Just to touch on it, just to maybe bring everybody up to speed if they've been under a log for the past week, because it is a holiday week. We had a tragedy. Was it a stabbing or shooting? Shooting, right?
Yeah.
Shooting. So this was 2 National Guard members patrolling in DC, and somebody walked up to him, and I'm unclear on. So let me just start with this. This is a hard time of year for me. This is usually the time of year where I shut everything off and stop looking at the news. But this the show has changed that this year. So do you know what? Do you have the details of what happened? Because I'm vague on the details. Like, I know this guy walked up to these 2 and walked up to her and started shooting her. And then I hear stories of the assassin, the assailant, grabbed her gun or somebody else's gun. And then this dude came up and started stabbing the shooter. You got any more than I got?
I never heard anything about a stabbing. I didn't hear any details. All I know is that there are some politicians telling me that if they weren't patrolling, this would have never happened.
Yes. And if you would have driven your kid to school and he wasn't crossing the street at the time, he wouldn't have got run over.
Well, if she didn't wear that short skirt, she would have never got raped.
I was going for the little less obvious one.
No, I like that obvious.
I was getting to that next. Yes. It's your fault, Mom, because you didn't take her to school. That's where I was getting Yeah, I thought could have sworn there was something about a knife involved where they started stabbing the shooter. You know,
The article I'm looking at
it's very vague.
doesn't have
This is one of the
details.
earlier ones. This basically, as soon as I saw there was a fatality, I figured we should bring it in. But he is an Afghani national who has, I mean, oddly enough, overstayed his visa.
Yeah.
Yeah, worked for the CIA.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
Oh, I believe that. I'm just
in
saying
Afghanistan.
it wasn't anything important.
I mean, yes, probably not, but he has an obvious tie to the CIA, which is, usually we're just guessing that, but this time he actually said it. But 20-year-old Sarah Beckstorm passed away from her injuries, and Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf is still fighting for his life, apparently. And thoughts and prayers to their families. It's so in typical Trump fashion, he ordered 500 more troops to be sent to D.C. because apparently they need more, and more power to him. So I guess that's not enough. I don't know. Yeah, so some of the repulsive continuation of the repulsive responses to these things is coming from the left is pretty astounding. It's hard to keep saying that over and over again, but they keep topping themselves. So
Yeah, they can't read the room. I don't get it, man. I really don't get it. You know what? The whole thing of if they weren't patrolling, this would have never happened. I'm not sure if that ever came from politician. I know it came from.
true. That's true.
You know what? I didn't hear or see a politician post anything like that.
Influencers. I haven't seen.
Yes.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, I misspoke probably.
Yeah, but they're thinking it allegedly.
Well, they might be telling the influencers what to say, right?
And we've seen in the past that has been the case in the past. Let's put it that way. As the dust settles and the years go on, and go, oh, wait, you were being paid to say that. Oh, okay. So it may be, but I think this just proves the point of why they're there. I mean, I don't know. To me, it proves the point of why they're there. Illegals and the local officials not doing enough. I guess clean up your own house, and you don't have to have somebody else do it. But I think we got some breaking news, Tom.
What's that?
Nope, didn't.
Breaking news.
Nope, that wasn't what I was going for. But okay, my breaking news thing isn't working.
Oh,
yeah, huh? Interesting. Technical difficulties. It sounds like. Does anything else work? Weird. It does not. So let's see if I can figure this out because it's gonna be hard to play my clips if I don't. Here we go. Now, like I said, breaking news. Breaking! President Trump has breaking news, and what he has found out, what he has done well, I'll give it from his own words here.
But before going any further, I want to make an important announcement because you remember last year, after a thorough and very rigorous investigation by Pam Bondi and all of the people at Department of Justice, the FBI, the CIA, the White House counsel's office, and the Department of Everything. We have a Department of Everything. You know what that is? I think that's called the White House. Into a terrible situation caused by a man named Sleepy Joe Biden. He used an auto pen last year for the turkey's pardon. So I have the official duty to determine, and I have determined that last year's turkey pardons are totally invalid. As are the pardons of about every other person that was pardoned other than where's Hunter? But they're hereby null and void. The turkeys known as Peach and Blossom last year have been located, and they were on their way to be processed. In other words, to be killed. but I have stopped that journey, and I am officially pardoning them, and they will not be served for Thanksgiving dinner. We saved them in the nick of time.
Just in the nick of time. What a gracious president. Even though Sleepy Joe wasn't really present when he pardoned those turkeys, he's still going to do it. He saved them from being processed, or like they say, being killed. But he has a few more things, because he did pardon. So it was the turkey pardoning ceremony, and this idea stream story, and it's a story about. Well, here's the headline: Trump spares turkeys, but not his political opponents. An annual pardoning ceremony. That's the way I read it, at least. And they talk about this and then that, and he joked about this, and here's the next one. Here, this is.
The turkeys being pardoned today go by the names of Gobble and Waddle. When I first saw their pictures, I thought we should send them. I shouldn't say this.
Say it.
I was going to call them Chuck and Nancy. But then I realized I wouldn't be pardoning them. I would never pardon those two people. I wouldn't pardon them. I wouldn't care what Melania told me. Darling, I think it would be a nice thing to do. I won't do it, darling. These are two of the largest turkeys ever presented to an American president, over 50 pounds each. It's the largest we've ever had.
Now, the controversy really, in this article goes on, and it'll be in the blog and everything. And they take every opportunity to talk about how they're going after his political enemies, and he's done all this and that. And I think graciously enough, though, he didn't. Well, if he calls him Chuck and Nancy, then he can't pardon him, and he has to cook them. But I think I don't know. It's almost like the idea stream couldn't help themselves.
Oh yeah.
And I think
my favorite line in that whole thing is when he turned his attention to Pritzker from Chicago,
yeah, that's where
or Illinois.
Thank you. I knew those.
I refuse to talk about the fact that he's a fat slob. I don't mention it.
Find that clip.
This is why I'm gonna miss this man eventually.
Yes, I couldn't find that clip, and I wanted that. That was the clip I wanted, but I figured those two would suffice. But yeah, I'm not going to mention that he's a fat slob.
I don't mention it.
I just it's one of those things. So I think the other part was, so then Trump used this was my, I love this part of the article. Trump used part of his ceremony remarks to insist that the price of Thanksgiving meals was dropping under his leadership, although his numbers are misleading. Oh, okay. Tell us how. Well, some research indicates that holiday dinners could cost more this year. A reminder of persistent frustration with inflation.
I think the whole thing started. Well, they're right. The food has not gotten any cheaper.
Well, I know, but they're like, well, his numbers are misleading. But some research say it could have gone up.
Well, they're not his numbers. He's using Walmart's numbers, and Walmart's changed their, I guess, their list of grocery items for Thanksgiving.
Yes,
and there was less stuff on the list.
So some numbers say that's cheaper. Some numbers say, but who's misleading? Was the president misleading, or are you guys misleading? Because he's using the numbers to say they're going down. They're using the numbers to say they're going up.
Yeah. I mean, they just don't. They should. If they're going to say that, they should go into a little detail.
Right. That's what I was waiting for. You're like, his numbers are misleading. Okay, how? And they say, well, they don't give you anything.
Well, they just want to take a little jab here and there.
Yeah, that was the whole. Couldn't just do a pardoning ceremony. You just had to do the whole. And I guess while one of the turkeys was in the press briefing room, and Bonnie said, "Waddle, give us a gobble," and right on message, right on cue, gave her a gobble. I wonder who had to clean up after the turkey in the press briefing room. Is that like what position of intern you need to be like, you got to clean up after the turkey?
I think any of those people will want to do that for the for it to be there.
Speaking of turkeys, speaking of turkeys and political opponents, and going after your political opponents, the final case against Donald Trump has been dismissed in Georgia. I'm getting somewhere here because there's not, it's getting to Ohio. Trust me. So the Georgia case has been dismissed. President Trump. What was the Georgia case? I believe I have what this was all about from the Idea Stream, which again another Idea Stream story. And I got a couple clips here, well, 3 actually, shorter ones. The joy in their voices, they just couldn't. They're disappointment, not joy. It's not disappointment. It's not joy. It's disappointment because it's over. Let's see what they had to say. I think this might be a backgrounder if I remember correctly.
Okay, Sam, just remind us how this case came to be in the first place.
In August 2023, after a months-long investigation, DA Fani Willis announced a grand jury in Fulton County handed up a nearly 100-page indictment. The sweeping racketeering case was sparked in part by Trump's phone call to Georgia Secretary of State Brett Raffensperger in January 2021, asking to find him 11,780 votes. It also focused on an alleged scheme to submit a slate of false electors for Trump, tamper with election equipment, and pressure other local and state officials. Trump and his co-defendants pleaded not guilty, but 4 defendants did ultimately accept plea deals, and those convictions will remain.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so...
Oh, interesting. Fake. Did he call up and say, give me 10,780 votes? No. He said there's humongous fraud in your state. Like, I don't know. Let's see. What could we recall from that time? Oh, the very first thing that popped up during election night. Do you remember? Oh, they've stopped counting in Georgia because of a water main break, which, as it turns out, never actually happened.
Is that the first? Okay.
That was the first thing I remember hearing was they stopped, shenanigans-wise. They stopped counting in Georgia because of a water main break. And I went, man, there better be a flood. Because this is easy to, this would be easy to determine if it's true or not. And it came, as far as I remember, that was not the case. There was no water main break. They just stopped counting like they did in a lot of areas. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know. Let's but why would they have dropped this case? Let's see. Maybe let's just tell us a little bit.
NPR's Sam Greenglass joins us now with more. Hi, Sam.
Hey, Elsa.
Okay, so I know you have been following this case for years now. What led to this decision to dismiss it?
Well, this decision was made by a special prosecutor named Pete Skandalakis. And you might be wondering what happened to Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, the prosecutor
what happened to Fani?
Who initiated this investigation. Well, remember, a Georgia court disqualified her from the case late last year over an alleged conflict of interest stemming from a personal relationship with the special prosecutor.
Hold on. It wasn't a personal relationship. They were dating. And she was hiring him for many different things, this just being one of them. That's what this was all about. But what happened after that?
It then fell to Skandalakis, the director of a state prosecutor's council, to find a replacement for her. No one was willing. So he assumed the case himself, promised to review all the investigative files and the law, and concluded all charges should be dismissed.
Wait, did the special prosecutor explain why?
He did, and he wrote in part that the criminal conduct in the indictment was conceived in Washington, D.C., not in Georgia, and that the federal justice system would have been the appropriate venue for this prosecution. Now, federal prosecutors did bring charges against Trump, but the case was dropped earlier this year as Trump returned to the White House.
So that was his reasoning for dropping the case was it was conceived in another state. So it's not in jurisdiction of Georgia. Sounds like a bunch of BS to me. Sounds like he's looking for a reason to drop it.
Sounds like a bunch of queer to me.
This gives him an out. That's what that did. So if you conceive it in another state and then go to Georgia and commit a crime, they're not going to do anything to you. I just think he's looking for a reason to get him off the hook. Nobody wanted to touch this case because there was nothing there. Trump said, find the votes, find the fraud. Find the fraud is what he said. find the votes. And they're saying, well, he was trying to pressure. I'm like, no.
Well, Trump does make it easy to misconstrue.
Sure. Yes. He does. I think, well, what's the final one thing I have here? Let's see. They're so disappointed.
I called up Georgia State University law professor Anthony Michael Christ, right. And he disagreed there was not a role for the state here in an election interference case like this one, and said a trial would have presented a chance for the public to hear all the evidence.
Oh. This was really an opportunity for justice and reconciliation and for a kind of truth-telling, and that has been squandered.
Well, as we have said, this investigation case has, they've gone on for years now, and it's over now. I'm just curious, Sam, what do you think the legacy will be for this whole episode?
Yeah, so cases against some of Trump's allies do remain in a few states, but those federal criminal cases against Trump were thrown out. So this Georgia case was really the last opportunity for prosecutors to hold Trump accountable for his alleged actions after the 2020 election. And now that is over too.
I know.
That is NPR's Sam Greenglass. Thank you so much, Sam.
Thanks, Elsa.
We need a warning before there's like a lot of gay coming in through my headphones here.
I mean, I think at this point you got license plates that are gay now. You're gonna be okay. I hear you. He's part of the reason why I like the clip so much. He loves Elsa. I bet he watched. I forgot the name of the movie. What's the movie with Elsa in it? No, I can't remember.
I don't have kids. I don't know.
Frozen.
Okay.
That was one of the main characters. It was Elsa. So that's why it's like, thanks, Elsa. I get to talk to Elsa all day.
You do that so well.
We've heard him. Yeah, I know. I'm pretty good at it. So we've heard him before. He's actually, their disappointment was that's why I kind of like just he kept hearing it throughout the whole clip. It was a 3 or 4 minute clip I cut up. It's just, but it's over. It's so over. Oh no, it's over. I gotta get these buttons down right. Anyway, so speaking of going after your political enemies, our next story, which would be the revelation that we've come across that Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan was targeted amongst many others from the Biden administration's DOJ and spying on what? What did do you remember? I remember this coming across and people going, holy cow, how did they do this? Because a lot of these phone records, so the DOJ subpoenaed phone records from, if I remember correctly, it's about 300 or 400 Republican politicians and other people, other than just, it was like, I think they mentioned Turning Point USA as being one that they were subpoenaed. So it wasn't just politicians, it was commentators and news organizations. Influencers would be more like news organizations. For 2.5 years of data from his phone. And I mean, so I'm reading these stories and I'm like, well, here's the idea stream talking about, well, they can't just do a story about the turkey being pardoned. They have to put in all this stuff about Trump going after his political enemies. And part of the problem I see here is Trump is expected to just take the high road. Because what's happened in the past is gone and everybody's forgotten about it or doesn't even know about it. Not everybody, obviously, but the general public. When I talk to people in general, they kind of come off like, why is he going after these people so hard?
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, people are stupid.
People don't pay attention. Yes, there are plenty of stupid people.
But they can't put 1 and 1 together, 2 and 2 together. I mean, like.
But if you don't know this stuff happened, you literally have no clue it happened.
Listen.
You're going to look at Trump like he's a big bully.
How? He was bullied, wasn't he?
Yes, but that's my point. They don't know he was bullied.
What? 34 felony convictions, fake felony convictions? Or
they don't know they're fake.
Charges, I should say.
People don't pay attention to that. To me, this is not surprising. I talk to normal, like when I talk to a lot of people that don't know my political affiliation because I don't tell them because it's work related and stuff. So I feel like sometimes I get maybe some of the, they're not, I don't know. They're not afraid to say stuff because they don't really know if I'm going to be for or against it. Maybe, I don't know if I'm explaining myself right, but they literally just go, a lot of people go, I've never heard that. What do you mean? He's a felon for 34 counts. And you go, of what? And they say, I don't know. What? Can you tell me?
Falsifying papers.
Well, right, but they don't know that. And then when they hear, it's falsifying papers. And then when you start explaining to them, well, yes, but technically that's a misdemeanor. And the only way it becomes a felony is if it's if you're doing those misdemeanors to promote a felony or to commit a felony, but now they can't figure out what. And okay, I've already lost.
They never said what the felony was.
Right, there is no felony to make though that he wasn't doing anything. They couldn't find one. They couldn't present a felony that he was, falsifying these records to commit this felony. They couldn't. There wasn't one. But my point is, by the time I get to about a sentence and a half in, eyes are glazed over.
Yeah, they don't care.
Do they know what happened in Georgia? No. All they know is Trump tried to falsify or tried to get votes, tried to find votes. He tried to
overturn the election.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess this is part of the problem is it's so hard to get your story straight, to get the real news through. And I think a lot of this, he looks like he's a big meanie, which is a problem to begin with because, people, you're so mean to these. Like, are you serious? Like, you're worried about these people? Like, you're worried about Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and who's on the Republican side? Not Schumer, but those guys, rhinos. That's who you're worried about. The people who screw you day in and day out. That's who you're worried about. I don't know.
Yeah, but all that people can do is just go by what they hear on the nightly news.
Yes, but nobody cares to look into it any further. That is a problem.
Why should they? If the nightly news is telling you the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know. I don't know how you overcome that, I guess. And a lot of that, I think, I just hear now and again from people that just don't understand why he'd be going after Comey.
Well, people really don't have the time to look into things. And when you have 99% of the news organizations basically an arm of the Democratic Party, what are you going to, it's hard to keep people straight.
Yeah. And that's kind of my view on as I'm reading all these things. It's, you read these stories and you just hear, this Trump, he's making fun of it. Why is he making fun of these people? They're politicians I disagree with, but why has he got to be such a bully? And we're in this quasi world where people, maybe it's not as bad as it used to be, but everybody's on the bullying. No bullying. Well, no, to an extreme. It's crazy. So
I've never heard that. Tell you the truth, I've never heard that.
That people think he's a bully.
Oh, I've heard that, but I mean, like, it's not. I mean, it's from far left leaning people. I've never heard anybody in my daily life say that.
Yeah, I mean, if you got people on especially people you've brought over into the big tent, they start to get sentimental. They get all soft on it. Oh, he's so harsh. Yeah, that's what we need. Everybody That's why I tell everybody. I go, everybody wants a politician that tells them the plain, blatant truth. I've heard that a lot. Just tell me what it is. Stop giving me this speak. The focus group approved, all that stuff. Give me how it is. Give me the truth. Then you get somebody in there, give them the truth, and they all go, well, he's so mean.
Yeah, I've never heard that, tell you the truth. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, continuing with Jim Jones.
I know people feel that way. I know some people feel that way, but I don't. I've never heard anybody say they don't, that calling him a bully. I mean, he can come across that way.
Yeah.
But that's only because of the news. I mean,
yes.
When Obama kills an American citizen and he just walks away saying that sometimes people are in the wrong place at the wrong time.
When Obama's nickname on the left was Obama.
Yeah. I don't think in the U.S., but
there were some lefty peaceniks that were very upset with him.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, he wasn't called a bully, but he could have easily been called a bully on occasions like that.
I mean, I don't know. How about subpoenaing 2.5 years of phone records from Congress people without telling them, and telling Verizon you can't tell anybody? Not just phone records, metadata, payment information, location, all that stuff.
Yeah. No, but it's just covered up. It's not talked about. He was a little more sly about it.
And Cleveland.com. I did not. I was disciplined and refrained from going to the podcast and listening. But this is a Cleveland.com story. I didn't pull a Cleveland.com story.
They don't have it up. No.
Oh. Hold on, let me see. Maybe
just talk about it.
Yeah, it's here. Basically, Cleveland.com agrees and says this was overreach.
Whoa.
Yeah. And they said if this is the way it happened, this is overreach, and we should be looking into it. Yeah, are you okay, Tom? Did you fall over?
Mike got in the way.
Oh, I thought maybe you've passed out because of the news.
Cleveland.com.
Yeah, they had said that this was a government overreach and that something should be done about it. And my thing was, we know. We know the DOJ, and they said that this is the DOJ out of control. Yeah, I know. That's why we voted for Trump, because this is the status quo. This was the status quo. How many other times did this happen that we don't know about? From previous, I mean, not just Biden, but Bush, Clinton, who cares, right? How many times is this kind of crap? If they did it to him and multiple other Congress people and major influencers, who else have they done it to that we don't know about? So this is why we vote. And this is why we don't understand how you can't see that, and yet you continually fight against this change from this kind of status quo. James Comey, hello, talking about his political enemies. Why is he picking on James Comey? Well, maybe this is why. And who's Jim Jordan? So Jim Jordan, obviously, he's an Ohio Congress person, but he's I think the chairman of the Judiciary Committee. What is one of the responsibilities of that committee is to oversee the DOJ. That just adds to it. It's like,
in other news, Cleveland.com writer looking for a new job.
Yeah. And I think the addition to this one was, I think in the last CR bill, the last continuing resolution, the one that's the shutdown bill they just passed, they put in there a little amendment that allows GOP senators, I believe it specifies senators are allowed to now sue the DOJ for subpoenaing their records. But so everybody's kind of freaking out, because if you're going to sue the DOJ, then you're basically suing the American people, because it's tax money they're going to use. And I was like, well, I get it, but I mean, the DOJ kind of, I know there's Congress people that they do have some privacy, but is anyone going to pay for this except for the American people? I don't think so. I think nothing's going to happen, as usual. And why is that? Because it's up to the Republicans to do anything, and they ain't got the cojones. They got nothing.
Feckless.
Yes. Do nothing. GOP. Do nothing. GOP. Yeah. So was going to follow along and see if anything happens to this Jim Jordan thing, and many, like I said, there's 300 or 400 other people that they did this to, and NDAs and all kind of stuff with the phone companies, AT&T and Verizon, I believe it was. So I guess we'll follow along and see if there's any fallout from this, but I honestly don't think there will be any. And where can you follow along, Tom? Check out the website, crookedrivercast.com. Check out the blog, follow along with this as we go through the stories, as long as I can keep on point, and check out the stories that we're looking at to make the show. You can look at the full video clips of all the stuff that we pull those segments out of when they're in the stories. And one of the things you can do is check out when we make a mistake, when we're wrong. So we had our, not that it ever would happen, but we had our awesome webmaster who you and I had talked about it, bringing this up, this little correction up about
we forgot to bring it up.
Yeah, I totally forgot to bring it up. Yeah. The voter registration or ID, I think it was voter ID, or when you get registered, what you have to show. And I am scrubbing through the blog here. Yeah, here we go. So it's not what we thought. So we were wondering, like, when do you have to? So there was a new bill being passed. Is that what it was that would forcing you to show proof of citizenship at registration?
Yeah,
right.
But I think we were right. It's what Ohio does now is relatively new. I think what I said, and I don't want to. I forget exactly how I worded it. But it was pretty easy to get a register to vote and to go vote without being a citizen. And it used to be. Now it's a little more difficult, I should say.
But there is something on your license.
Yeah, now there is. But that's up to most of the errors that happen now are because of the people working at the polls. Okay. Not because of ID or anything like that. It's people just not checking into stuff.
So right. So when you get your license and you have a green card, they notate it on the license so that when you go to the voting booth, if it's on there, then you can't vote. Is that sound right? Yeah.
But it's still up to the person checking.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's still a human error factor in there.
Yes.
But it is caught up, and that's what was added by after the fact. We were corrected.
Yeah, and that's because our lovely webmaster is also a poll worker.
Yes.
I think she's basically a GOP watchdog over there. She makes sure everybody's doing their job correctly.
Good. We definitely need that. But that's what kind of things you can get on the blog. And if you come across something that needs some clarification, not that we would ever be wrong, but we might need some clarification, you could also shoot us an email at crookedrivercast@gmail.com and tell us what you think. Share the show with your friends. Leave a comment, a review on how great the show sounds, and how great the hosts are and stuff.
Well, I'm awesome. Everybody should know that.
Yeah. Please comment on how awesome Tom is. He's feeling. He sounds a little better after he's got over his concussion.
Yeah, actually, I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I could tell. I could tell a difference. Hey, man, those things aren't. I mean, you should probably watch that movie now with Will Smith. You probably have a much more bigger connection to it about the NFL scandal. Oh, but concussions are not to mess around with. I still won't go on the corkscrew.
Yeah,
I got a concussion from that thing when I was, I don't know, 12.
It took me almost 2 weeks to kind of get back to normal. It was weird.
Yeah.
Nothing hurt. I mean, my body was a little sore. My head was, if I touched the knot on my head, it was sore, but I'd get strange headaches throughout the couple of weeks that it lasted.
It was one of the reasons Dale Earnhardt Jr. retired when he did.
Oh, yeah.
Because he got, in a car, he still got a concussion because even with all the stuff they have on, you can still get it. And he was messed up for months because he ignored it and didn't do the protocol that, what the medical field, he kind of just said, I'm good. And like a month or two later, he was still messed up. And it kind of showed him like, yeah, I think he maybe looked at his bank account and said, yeah, you know what? I could probably don't have to work anymore. So I could just do this podcasting.
Is that what he's doing?
He has a show on YouTube where he interviews because he's got all the, he does broadcasting now. He does broadcasting for the races. But also because his last name's Earnhardt, he can get basically anybody as an interview. So he has a pretty big, it's not a podcast. It's a YouTube show.
It's a podcast.
Yeah. But it's actually pretty popular too. It's actually for somebody who's not, I guess he is a broadcaster. Yeah. So never mind. So it's a pretty good show. He is a broadcaster.
You know what? I'm not a NASCAR fan or anything, but what happened to NASCAR? It used to be, all I'd heard about was NASCAR. I think it was like, what, in the 90s? Early 2000s even?
2000s, yeah. 2000s. It's, I think late 90s, it started ramping up in the early 2000s. Probably when I started getting into it too. I think my brother got into it and kind of dragged me into it. It ran its course. It was it's one of those things. It got crazy and then it fell off. I mean, they still get good crowds. But I think
I know that.
They were adding tracks, but adding to tracks seating capacity every year. It seemed like every couple of years. And I think they're kind of pulling some of that back. Some of the less popular tracks have closed. They've moved them elsewhere. And
what happened? Just kind of lost.
I think it just ran its course.
Popular. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Just had its fad, and it kind of went. But it's still huge. It's just not as
right.
Anyway, back on track here. Share the show. Comment. Crookedrivercast.com. All right. Next is a kind of a story that I think I'll start off with. Maybe the proper. Yes, we'll do the proper. Because it's, I got all excited because Ohio resolution calls for federal term limits, but it really doesn't mean anything. It's just a suggestion that we should have term limits. But I thought there was some interesting information that I could pull out of this story. We mentioned Marcy Kaptur last week. She was one of the ones who voted against her own constituents, like about $3 million because she didn't want to vote for the opening the government. So she was voting against. We talked about it last week. Didn't realize, I should have known better, but didn't realize that in this article, they go through some of the long. So again, this is a Ohio resolution to suggest term limits. It's been talked about at the federal level. I think Trump has mentioned it a couple of times. It's like an 80-20 issue. It's one of the few 80-20 issues left, I think. And they go through some of the standouts in Congress. And Marcy Kaptur was one of them. She won her first election in 1982.
She is 79 years old.
She is going. She's been in office 42 years. She's won 22 re-elections. She's in her 22nd term. Oh, wow.
Well, Chuck Schumer has 44.
44.
Pelosi has 37. Don't forget about, let's go, Republicans, Chuck Grassley, 50 years.
And he's still
in Hal Rogers since 81.
Yeah. So she is the longest woman ever to hold office. She beats Pelosi by quite a few years, actually, 5 or 6 years. Can we stop the career politicians, please, people? I don't know if term limits are the answer. I just don't know what else we're supposed to do.
Get the money out. I think it would be really a great idea because, well, it's my idea, so it's great.
Of course it's great.
No, it's not even my idea. I heard somebody else bring it up and I can't remember who brought it up. But for local politicians or districts, they get too much money from outside donors that aren't in the district. They should be limited to getting donations, or at least most of their donations from your local area. So if you're in district, 12, most of your donations should come from district 12.
Yes, I think a lot of this.
I personally, I think like AOC, people like that, you wouldn't have them in Congress for very long. They might win, but eventually they're going to lose because, most of her donations come from, all over the U.S., not even from her Brooklyn area or whatever burb she's in.
I think it was explained to me once that a lot of this went downhill when they went to I guess the governors used to appoint senators, right? Is that how it was, or something like that? It wasn't.
No.
Senators weren't directly voted on.
The representatives would vote for the senators. I'm pretty sure. Is
that what it was? Yeah. So
I think so. You know what? I'm not 100%.
It wasn't a direct vote like it is now. It wasn't on a ballot. It was. I want to say some other part of the you had like there might have been the House in each state maybe voted for the senators. I thought maybe it was a governor, but it could be either one. Either way, it's the same thing.
the state house
would make sense. Yeah,
because they were our reps, right? Not even the state house. It would have been. Yeah, no, it would.
Well, you know what?
It would have been the state reps of in federal government would have chosen the Senate. I'm about 90% sure on that, but my 90% could be like 20%. I don't know.
Let me see if we can find it. 17th Amendment, voters have selected U.S. senators, private voting since 1913.
Same year as the Federal Reserve.
It doesn't say what happened after that, but that's when it started. But you get a lot of out-of-state money because control of the Senate is important, control of the House is important as a nation. So you get a lot of people going, oh, I'm in California, but I'm going to, give to AOC because she's in New York, and I want New York to have that representation because I want the federal level to have, Democrats or Republicans to have control, so on and so forth. So yeah, getting the money up. How? That's like, how do you I've talked about this. I've heard commentary on this, and it's really hard.
Individual state legislatures
have to do what though?
U.S. senators were chosen by their individual state legislatures.
Yeah, so the House then.
Yeah,
that seems way better.
I don't know if it's like the state, like the state government or the federal House members of your state, but I'm not sure. It's not clear.
I believe it was at the state level. That was
that's what I think,
because it's not a national thing. It never was a big deal. Most people didn't care they got voted on, and that's your senator was. But I don't know. I've heard it explained to me that's part of it. Yeah, getting the money out is important because why should you go in to make $175,000 a year and then 25 years later you're worth $20 million? How does that work?
There's a lot of that, of course, but I mean, I think it's more to me. It's like I just think if you don't have that big money coming from around the U.S., you have a harder time getting reelected. It evens the playing field.
Yes, there you go. That's a good point. It does even because the person who's trying to get the incumbent out does not have that advantage. Most of the time, will not have that outside money. And that a lot of times it's big money. It's big money, hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars. So, is this going to go anywhere? Probably not.
No,
probably not. Very, very. I mean, I keep hearing Trump bring it up every once in a while about term limits. And how you need to have term limits, not just the president, but everybody.
Yeah, but you know what? I'll tell you what. After, if the midterms happen the way they usually happen, nothing's going to get passed, and nothing's going to get passed before that either, because everyone's out on the campaign trail.
Yep. Yeah. There's a lot of time to pass, but we'll see. And anyway, let's move on to the next thing here. We have Ohio Supreme Court has ruled that officers involved or officers that are injured are covered by Marsy's Law.
I was reading this article, and this is from where?
This is, again, IdeaStream.
IdeaStream.
The last one from Term Limits was Ohio Press Network.
Right.
Everything's not from the IdeaStream this week, but when I look at it, there's a lot from the IdeaStream.
But I don't know if this is right. Go ahead. Talk about it.
Yeah. So, that's why I said it the way I did, because that's the way they present it in the article. They never actually tell you that I can see what Marsy's Law is. So I had to look up what Marsy's Law was. Marsy's Law in Ohio is known as also known as the Ohio's Victims Bill of Rights. It is a constitutional amendment that grants crime victims fundamental rights in the justice system, ensuring they are treated. This is partially weird to me, but because you figured this is already there. But this amendment ensures they are treated with fairness and respect. Okay, it guarantees victims the right to be informed of their rights. So I thought that was already a thing. To be protected from the accused, and to be heard at key stages of criminal cases, such as during the plea negotiations or sentencing. That makes sense. The law also provides rights to restitution and to privacy. Passed in 2017. I think it was enacted in 2018. So what they're doing now is a lawsuit. Here's some background from the idea stream. Oh, there it is.
The Ohio Supreme Court has ruled that a law meant to protect the identities of crime victims can apply to on-duty police officers. The case stems from a shootout between a suspect and Columbus police on Interstate 70 2 years ago. Following the shooting, Columbus redacted the names of an injured officer and 7 others who responded to the scene. The city claimed Marcy's Law shielded their identities as crime victims. The Columbus Dispatch then sued to force the city to release the names and other public records. Columbus's Fraternal Order of Police President Brian Steele says the ruling is a major win for law enforcement.
I relive that incident every day. I responded to that incident. I talked to the officers involved all the times. They were 100% a victim of crimes. You don't all of a sudden not become a victim of crime simply because of the uniform you wear.
The Dispatch says in a statement, the court greenlit overreach and reduced the transparency that is vital to preserve the community's trust in law enforcement. George Shilcock, WOSU News.
Something about that doesn't seem right.
I'm understanding it like this. Tell me if this is how you're understanding it. If a police officer shows up to a domestic dispute, let's say, the guy pulls a gun, fires, shoots a cop in the leg, and he fires back and kills the guy. Is now the cop a victim?
Yes.
That doesn't make sense to me. He's just doing his job. So now there can't really be an investigation?
No, that's not what they're saying. Is if you pull a public record, if you want to look at that case and see who was involved in it, those names will be redacted if they were injured. So if you had 20 cops show up and one, it doesn't have to be shot. I don't think.
Right.
You could have broke his leg. You could have twisted his ankle. I can imagine if you were injured, it says. So if you had 10 cops there and 4 of them were injured, you can redact those 4 names.
That makes no sense to me.
I don't know what extent maybe I'm going too far with it as far as twisting an ankle, but it says if you were injured, if you were hurt in the process of a crime being,
So why though? He's a cop, or she, whatever.
Yeah,
they're a cop. Yeah, they're a cop, right? So shouldn't they we pay their salary.
Yeah. So I'm not sure why they're fighting so hard. Why is this such a?
It sounds like it makes things a little easier to cover up if they need to.
It could. Yeah. I mean, you could break a nail and then have to be covered and be redacted. But it doesn't. It won't stop them from being sued or anything like that. It just keeps their name private in any public records requests. Is the way I guess.
So a newspaper can't write about them.
Yes. So if a newspaper asks or a citizen asks for it, the names will be redacted and you won't know who it is because they get injured. I think this law was not intended for that. That's one of the problems people are having with it. And a lot of the law to me is ensuring they are treated with fairness and respect, the victim. First of all, I don't know how you do that, but you weren't being treated. Ensuring they guarantees victims' rights to be informed of their rights. What? Isn't that called that's already, but some of it being informed of keys, when they're going to be sentenced or when they're doing a plea deal and being able to have some say in it, that makes sense. But that was never intended for the cops. That's kind of part of the problem. And it to me, it's a great avenue for abuse. If something goes wrong on a crime scene, I mean, you claim injury and now you don't, your name's not in public.
Right.
You're a public official. You're a public servant. So the Supreme Court says, no, they're covered.
So those cops in Cleveland, those, the sheriff department that has those troopers. Vajussi shooting out of the car window while
Patel, I think is his name. Sheriff Patel, I think.
Yeah, whatever. I'm just bringing it up. So if those guys claimed injury, they did their names. We wouldn't know their names.
Right. If they could have said, I got a concussion in a car accident when I hit the other person that I just killed. And
why didn't they though?
You can't. Well, at the time,
yeah,
it wasn't. The lawsuit was still going through. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh yeah, okay.
Maybe they don't know about it yet. Maybe they will soon. I don't know, that kind of stuff. But that's exactly where you would see that there's no transparency.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I like this.
No, I don't like it. When there's less transparency, there's more shenanigans every time, in my opinion.
Seems like it.
And this just opens a door for it. And that's why I'm going, why were they fighting so hard for, like, really everything else is fine except for the redactions of the names, it feels like to me. Like, you should, sorry, you're a public servant. I'm sorry, I think you kind of give up that right.
So let's say a cop gets shot and he shoots back and kills somebody. Now I guess can like the family, maybe they won't be able to find out his name, and then they can sue him, I guess. But what about maybe it protects them from somebody attacking them?
As far as the cop, like, what you trying to look at
like somebody
the benefit of the downside? Yeah, I could see, but I guess my point is, you've got 20 officers on a scene, and a few of them get injured, but the rest of them will be in the report. If IdeaStream pulls a public information about that incident, there's going to be 17 out of the 20 names are going to be in there, but the 3 that got injured aren't. So if you're in a shootout with somebody, let's go to the extreme, Tom. Let's say there's a horribly racist cop in a shootout with an Indian. And
was he driving a truck?
Well, that's going to be funny. That's going to be more funny later on. But maybe, probably, most likely, because that seems to be a good avenue for them. But you're not going to be able to see his name if he gets shot by the other person while in the shootout.
Right.
You're not going to be able to see what person was. I don't like that. I'm sorry. I get you want to be private, but I think you kind of give up some of those rights when you become a police officer, when you become a public servant.
Sounds fishy to me.
Yeah. It seems there could be great avenue for abuse and for corruption.
You have to keep an eye out on that.
Yeah, there's plenty of that going on already. I don't know what. Here's the problem, I think, is from the Supreme Court's side of it. The law doesn't say no police officers or no public servants or whatever. It says victims of a crime. The court decided that if you're shot in the line of duty from a assailant, that you've had a crime committed against you, and you are now a victim. So according to the law, that was where the case kind of lied in. Is the cop a victim in a shootout? According to the Supreme Court of Ohio, yes. I mean, in a way they are, yes, but you put yourself in that position. I don't know. There's a little nuance there, I guess. You kind of, right? So I think they're missing part of that. And again, just keep going to it. Why are you pushing so hard for this?
I never heard a cop say I was a victim.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I mean, if somebody comes to his front door and, attacks him, then he's a victim when he's off duty.
Why? What has happened in the past? Is there something that's happened in the past that they want to fix?
I don't know.
They don't bring it up. They just say, no, they're a victim of a crime. We should be able to hide our identity. I don't know. Unless you can point to some reason for it. I don't get it. So I don't know. Let's keep an eye on that shenanigans afoot, I think. But we'll give them the benefit of doubt for a short period of time. Oh crap! I totally forgot. We got two stories, and I didn't even do the Critter Corner. We're in the middle of it, but they're just all over the place. Got a couple more we're going to go through here. That's voter ID was kind of another resolution for term limits, which was kind of nothing going to happen with that. But this one, the OSHA, the Ohio High School Sports Association, has voted to allow high schoolers to sign contracts and get paid for the name, image, and likeness. And the Ohio GOP says, hold on a second. Not so fast. So basically, in the past, students in Ohio who could get endorsement deals because they're really good at sports were not allowed to sign it and still be considered an amateur. And they've just not too long ago, actually, they voted to keep this ban in place, the Ohio High School Association. But just recently, in the last week or so, they voted again, and it's a dramatic shift from 2022 when 67% of schools voted against allowing name, image, and likeness deals to 79% voting for it just 3 years later. And so it was 447 to 121, while on 247 schools abstained from the vote. Interesting. So basically, they're saying, let us. You can't stop a person from making money off their face and their name. And the Ohio GOP says, no, you can't. We don't want you to.
It's kind of funny because
in the past,
isn't it legal in 44 states?
42 other states.
Yeah.
And let's see, we have a little clip here from Ms. Morgan Trow. I'm never going to get it right. But maybe eventually. Here's maybe a hint on why this member of the GOP, which I'll get his name, which is Adam Byrd, Republican in New Richmond, sponsored the bill. It states high schoolers can't participate in name, image, and likeness deals like basketball superstar Marcus Johnson, as they bring up in the story, who has had a lot of offers but hasn't been able to take up those offers and sign them because of the thing. Now he can, but within a day, this guy put the legislation in. So let's see what he has to say. But you may be able to figure out why some of these people are against it.
Earning money is not what Ohio high school sports is about.
Less than 24 hours after the announcement, Southwest Ohio State Rep Adam Byrd proposed a bill to ban NIL deals for high school student athletes.
Our sports to be about character development and leadership and fitness and social connections and all of those kinds of things, and not creating even more pressure for our students.
Byrd says that students shouldn't be earning more than coaches and referees, and that the athletes' focus shouldn't be on endorsements.
When you're using public money to create gymnasiums and stadiums and weight rooms, we should be using that publicly paid for facility for those kinds of things, and not for the athlete to be earning NIL money.
Now do the Browns. Now do the team we used to call the Indians. Let's do the Cavs now. Can they make money off of the public buildings that tax-funded people have put in? Or do they have to work for free too? I thought that was interesting. And yeah, I think there's just some coaches and referees that are pissed because some kids may make more money than they do. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Tom?
I thought that was fun. We talked about this. I think, if they can make money, they can make money.
That's my thing. Is like, how can you tell? No, you can't. So what if some basketball star was walking down the street and this high-end model recruiter sees him on the street, or her, or whatever, and says, "You are beautiful. I want to hire you for your name, image, and likeness," not even knowing what kind of sports star they are. That the kid couldn't do it. Not that, I guess that is an extreme. It's
a little different.
Yeah. Extreme part, but that's they are not allowed to sign a name, image, and likeness deal. They weren't until now. I don't know if that does that mean just if the company wanted you to do it because you're sports? Because then they could just say, "Oh, we're doing it because he's pretty." So how can you
that's
tell
a different
somebody?
Thing, though.
I know it's a different thing. That's my point.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you're a sports person playing sports, can you sign a deal to be a model for a clothing company if it has nothing to do with your sports? And how do you prove that?
Well, that's different though. I mean, I don't.
What do you mean?
You're just hiring a model.
I know, but if that model happens to play Ohio sports,
are they wearing
the
jersey?
Doesn't matter.
In the shoot?
It does. As far as I understand, it doesn't matter. They are not allowed to sell their name, image, and likeness and still be considered an amateur.
But you're not selling your name. You're just modeling for Abercrombie, let's say. Are they even around anymore? But, you're not selling your name. You're not selling your jersey.
You sell them your image and your likeness. Though. It's one of those three. It's not all three. It could be either one of those, right?
Yeah. I see where you're coming from.
This is an edge case. I get it. I'm just saying what. So can you not do anything because you play sports that has to do with making money off your image?
I think, I see what you're saying. I just think it's a different thing.
It is. I don't know but from what I'm reading, from all the information that has been put in front of me, it doesn't specify. It only, you can't sign a deal that only has to do with sports. It's just, you can't sell your name, image, or likeness in Ohio and still be considered. So I don't know. I'm assuming, yes, you can't do that. Like if your kid had a modeling deal, you might be restricted from signing that too. I don't know.
I don't think so. Modeling deal is different. You're selling something else.
Your image.
Yeah, but you're selling something else for somebody.
Right. But
your image doesn't, it's not the same.
How is it different though? I get it's not, but how is selling your image and likeness on a poster with a basketball in your hand different than selling your image and likeness just because you're wearing a pair of jeans or whatever? It's the same. You're selling your image and likeness. And according to what I see, I don't think you're allowed to.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I'm not saying it's a fact. I'm just asking the question. But
I know.
You don't think they would restrict them from doing that?
No.
But what tells you that? That's my question.
Well, why were you chosen to be a model? Because of your sports? Yeah, well, you're pretty. You don't have to be playing sports to be pretty.
Right. But if you're pretty and playing sports, can you just be a model? Because I guess the whole thing was, if you could do that, then what's the holdup? Just say you're writing a kid a check because he's pretty. I don't know.
Yeah, they could have done that.
That's why they
start putting him in his school jersey and
that I could see them saying no to. You're not allowed to wear school colors or school logo.
Right.
That I can see because you'd have to get permission from the school for that. But to me, it's bigger than. To me, I think it's bigger than just because you're in sports. You can't sell. If you happen to be in sports, will it also affect you? How do you? But to me, it boils down to how do you tell a kid or their parents what they can or can't do with their kid's face, name, and regardless
I'm
if
not
it's
arguing
sports
with you.
or not.
It's just
no, I know. We're not arguing anyway.
It's a weird comparison.
It's an edge case for sure. I don't know. I don't think you should be able to tell anybody what they can do with that. And it's weird that we have a congressperson in Ohio. Well, I guess it's not weird. It's probably right along the lines of it. And really, we've got the next quick story, which I just wanted to bring up only for one point, which is the Ohio requires a new bill in Ohio will require cardiac screening for student athletes. I mean, why?
Sudden death syndrome.
Sudden heart attack syndrome, whatever they're calling it. Did they just call it sudden death in the article or in the report?
That's what they call it. Well, I don't know. I don't know about this report. I know that's
sudden cardiac death. Prevent sudden cardiac death. That's what they're. But they do also mention that most of these things are genetic and can't really be tested for. But just in case, we're going to test them anyways. And really, this kind of piles onto the previous two. Now we've got 3-4 laws possibly in our state about high school sports. I mean,
because they got nothing better to do.
Yes, that's why. Thank you. That's kind of why, and that's the point of the next one is like, why is it your business what I do with my name, image, or likeness? I get the downsides of it with sports and all stuff, but it's not your concern. It's not up to you. It's mine. It's my kid. It's my kid's name, image, and likeness, not yours. Butt the hell out. Now if your kid wants to do high school sports, he's got to have a freaking EKG or something done. Oh, and if there's any abnormalities, we'll have more tests. But hey, how about who do you get paid from? Who's paying your wages? What kind of lobbying is going through with the testing?
Who donated to that politician?
Yeah, there's the Ohio Testing Association of some sorts. I would assume. And that was, that's kind of, I saw that it was kind of been sitting there.
Could be big pharma. Hey, you know what? This test wasn't perfect. You can take this pill.
That's what I took out of the report. Like, well, testing really doesn't show much, but if there's any abnormalities, it could mean more tests. I was like, wait. Oh, now I got it.
You can play this sport if you take this pill.
And why all of a sudden is everybody so worried about sudden cardiac death with children? Let's leave that one out there for everybody to figure out what that may have to do with. Anywho, so, like the guy said in the report, like the one the father said, hey, if my kid can make a couple extra grand, it'll help with the groceries. Name, image, and likeness. Go out and sell it. But the GOP is going to tell you no. So we'll see. We'll see if the bill goes through. I don't know. It's a Republican bill, so good chance it probably gets passed. Something that DeWine would probably want to sign. He likes getting involved in sport. I mean, he's on a side note, he's against gambling, except he made a deal with the Michigan governor on the Ohio State Michigan game.
What? Oh,
but he doesn't like gambling.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
that's for publicity.
Yeah, well, yes, of course, it is. Actually, one bar says if they lose, free drinks for everybody. So he's got a lot riding.
Oh, damn!
Bar somewhere. So it's my X feed is just packed with because it's that day today.
Is it?
Yeah, I think today is it. Yeah, it's right around Thanksgiving usually. Well, next, let us know what you think of that story or the other stories we talked about. Send us an email, crookedrivercast@gmail.com. Check out the website, crookedrivercast.com. Got the blog there every Monday. When the show comes out, the blog there with all of our links and a little commentary there. Gets you a little rundown of our stories. You can follow along. But tell us what you think. If you've got somebody who could possibly sell their name, image, or likeness, shoot us an email, crookedrivercast.com. Tell us if you've got any input on this. Be interested to see what you think and think if it's right or wrong, if we should keep doing it or not, or is GOP onto something here, or are they just overstepping it, all that kind of stuff. Shoot us an email, crookedrivercast.com. Thank you for listening. Really appreciate your time. Really do. Next we have, every vote counts, Tom. Every vote counts. Because there are 5 recounts. Well, there were 5 recounts. Actually, still got 5 recounts. 5 recounts in just Cuyahoga County alone. And a spoiler alert, in Cleveland, the socialist wins. Socialist wins. So Cleveland's got 5 races that are super close. So I think it's within triggers recounts within 0.5%. Board of Elections will meet to clarify the results. So there's 5 races, one of which is a city council race with an incumbent. And it's the new guy has won by, I think, 8 votes, 6 or 8 votes, something like that. Or it was 6 votes, then it went up to 9. So now the incumbent has conceded. So the city, so it's Ward 12 seat, and this is a new seat. And let me go through some of the. I have a couple clips here. We'll go through City of Cleveland. This is new Channel 5. A little bit of what's going on.
Pending a recount, 29-year-old Tanmay Shah is the winner in the Ward 12 City Council race with a razor-thin victory over incumbent Danny Kelly. Shah, a Democratic socialist, says he'll bring a new brand of politics to City Hall.
Didn't even blink an eye when he said Democratic socialist, by the way. Just Democratic socialist. We'll continue. What?
I like how they use the word Democrat.
Yes. Well, they put that in front of socialists like that. Like one of these here don't belong.
Yeah. When you vote your way into it, you're not going to vote your way out of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see what he's all about, Tom. You might be able to guess what he's all about, but we'll see.
Our Krista Moran went one-on-one with him tonight.
Shaw defeated Councilman Danny Kelly by just 9 votes, taking over Ward 12, which will stretch from the Lyndale border to Edgewater. His win comes during a shifting era for council, as population loss will shrink the body from 17 members to 15 next term.
Oh. So Lyndale up to Edgewater. Am I wrong, or is that like a more upscale part of Cleveland?
I don't know.
I thought Lyndale was like a nicer part of Cleveland, wasn't it? And then up towards Edgewater and stuff up there on the lake. I don't know.
Yeah, you got all those big houses.
Yeah, so things are changing because the city's shrinking. And this guy, well, do you want to guess what this guy's platform is all about?
Giving stuff away?
Well, yes, but they don't say that because that's not popular. Let's see what he is.
From the first day of our campaign, we've been really laser focused on having affordable housing, affordable groceries, and reliable city services. That's what I'm excited to bring for Ward 12 and to the council.
Shaw, an Indian immigrant, has called the Jefferson neighborhood home for more than a decade. In his career, he's been a union organizer, a lawyer, and a truck driver. And he says that community organizer perspective he plans to bring to City Hall.
So, yeah, as you guessed it right, affordable housing, affordable groceries, good city services, all those things that they promise every election. And then the next election, they promise the same thing because they've yet to ever come through with affordable groceries, housing, or good city services. But I think, and let's go to the end of the report here. And it's very important that you get this down, Tom. It's very important that you understand, what this is all about.
We've always been focused on affordable housing, affordable groceries, and reliable city services. Yes. And our win is just a testament to how desperately people want to see these changes come about. So that's where my focus will be for the next 4 years, and I'm really excited.
Only 29 years old, he's already worn so many hats. Yeah. Now he's wearing another. Okay, Christian Moran here in the studio. Thank you.
Yes, the socialist hat. That's what he's wearing. Oh, look at him. Only 29 years old. And he's all wearing so many hats. Yeah, a lawyer, community organizer. Wouldn't running a campaign make yourself consider yourself a community organizer? Because you're kind of organizing your community. I don't know. So
I'm trying to look at the map here, from Edgewater to Lyndale.
Yeah, it's like
Lyndale's like on the off of 71, right?
Yeah, so that border is 71 in Lyndale, all the way up to the lake.
Oh, I see it.
Like sort of a rectangle.
Yeah, you got some sketchy neighborhoods through.
Yeah. What kind of?
It's sort of like on the border of Lakewood too, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yes. Yeah, but they've redistricted. I mean, nobody was complaining about this redistricting apparently, but because they've shrunken down from 17 to 15, so they had to recombine a couple districts. So this is. I guess maybe he's not an incumbent, but I think maybe it was the guy that was there beforehand or something like that. But he's what maybe pull this story because I was just going to talk about there's some close races in Ohio, and every vote counts. Provided that when you go to the booth, there's more than one person for that position up on the ballot. But there's a picture of him in this IdeaStream article, and the caption is Cleveland-based attorney Tamney, whatever his name is, talks with IdeaStream Connor Morris on the pro-Palestinian protest on campus of Case Western Reserve University in spring of 2024. Awesome. Yeah, he's got the whole scarf on and all this stuff. Yeah. So he's like, oh, really? So then I looked into it. Yeah, it didn't take more than a second to go, oh, yeah, the Democratic Socialist won. And then there's News Channel 5 or WKYC. No, News Channel 5, I think it was, yeah. And they're oh no, it's News 3. I want to make sure I get it right. Oh, so many hats. What a great guy. So many hats. Speaking of Democratic Socialists, City of Cleveland Council wrestles with Brown's settlement deal. They want to screw this up, don't they? So the Browns want to give the City of Cleveland over the next few years, not all at one time, a total of about $100 million. Some of it in cash, some of it in investment, so on and so forth. But the main thing they're trying to get through City Council, and this is, we're going to talk about this more next week because there's another story just came up that is along the same lines, the lakefront. But they're not sure if they want to. So city council has to vote for the next step to approve this deal so that the Haslams can give the city $25 million. And I think what they're going to start to do is prepping the site to tear the stadium down. That's the big thing for the city of Cleveland is they don't have to get stuck with paying for the demolition of that site.
Yeah, I think it's
tens of millions of dollars.
Haslam paying for the tear down, basically.
Yeah, $100 million. Right? It's a lot of it's to tear down, but there's also like location prep, and then they're going to do some investment deal or something, anything. Anyway, but the city of Cleveland is just like, well, we're not sure. We're not sure if we want the money. And Mayor Bibb's like, dude, like, if the sooner we get this settled, the sooner we can start, figuring out what we're going to do, which is
you know what? I rag on Bibb, but boy, he's got a lot of problems there too.
Yeah, only part of them are his or him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't care for him.
No, I know, but credit where credit's due, right? I mean, hey,
yeah,
because we disagree on most things, doesn't have to be. So they want $25 million cash by December 1st. So they have until Monday, right? Is it Monday? Yeah, Monday to vote on it, and then they're out for the year unless they have a special emergency council meeting, whatever, to vote on it. So Monday is the last day unless they do that, and then so $25 million in cash, and then $30 million to tear down the existing stadium. $25 million in payments from 2029 to 2033, and then $20 million towards community benefits, whatever that is. That's what the totals of the $100 million. The big part is they want to start. The big part is, I think we may have found out part of the problem is the city council may want to, how do we say this? Determine where this money goes. This $25 million. Yeah, that seems sketchy to me. I'm trying to find the actual paragraph where it says the city council is. That's what happens when I don't copy and paste it in there. But it says city leaders are debating on where some of that money should really go. That's kind of their holdup. So try to get the bank accounts ready so they can slide, $100,000 here, $100,000 there, maybe. In my opinion, allegedly, possibly, probably not going to happen.
Yep.
But I'm like, what are you waiting for? They're moving anyway. Take the money and run. What the hell? I think you can give the credit to Bibb for even getting this far with it.
I think that's why I was giving him some credit for this, but he's getting roadblocked by his own council there.
Well, it wasn't their idea. Maybe that's part of it. A lot of times it's just
they're just
simple.
They're trying to figure out how to skim.
Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, on the council, we get $50 million from lakefront overtime. Over time, the first $25 million right away, and I guess they're trying to figure out where to put all the money. It's just, where do we put all that $25 million? And on the same note, is our last story for our regular list here is we had talked about, I don't know, a few weeks ago, probably one of the good things segment, I think it was Ohio Spotlight. I think maybe it was that there's American Cruise Lines was going to make Ohio or Cleveland a permanent or a cruise ship stop.
Right.
And not just like a visit here, but actually a destination point from beginning and end for a couple different cruises throughout the Great Lakes. And we brought it up because I was like, cruises through Great Lakes actually sounds cool, but I didn't even know they had them. Well, we have to turn the story around because the American Cruise Line removes Cleveland from the stop in its 2026 Great Lakes voyages. And I think you may have read the article, but according to the American Cruise Lines, the reason was they were unable to find a suitable docking location in Cleveland for 2026 because the city of Cleveland has yet to develop the lakefront in the last 50 years. Oh, gosh. So And I think we had commented. I even commented when we talked about the spotlight, and I looked up online on YouTube some reviews on Great Lakes tours. There is a stop in Cleveland. It's not a destination or a beginning or ending, but it's just a one-day stop. And the first thing I noticed was they park right next to the Brown Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's your Brown Stadium on the other side of the dock is like warehouses and gravel piles and stuff like that. So you got to walk through an industrial area to get to a sidewalk so you can walk into Cleveland. So I'm like, you announced something before you even looked at it. First of all, it's kind of like, hey, you didn't realize you were dealing with Cleveland, right? But they've decided to change their mind until there's a suitable dock that it's not, you're not going to have to dodge forklifts and tow motors and all that stuff. You walk up from the cruise ship. Generally not what happens when you go and get off a cruise ship. I don't know. So they've just kind of
we could put some vending people out there selling crappy jewelry.
Yeah, hot dog stand. A couple of hot dog stands, a taco stand. Yeah. Actually, that's where they could sell all their Chief Wahoo gear out there.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, they've kind of pulled that back, and again, it's tied in. We'll probably touch on this a little bit next week too, because like I said, there's another story that I pulled for next week that's similar to this. That's to do with the airport, of course. And I guess give Bibb credit where it's due. He's trying to develop it. Whether it's going to happen or not, it doesn't seem like it. Maybe we're seeing some of the problems with Cleveland, and the reason the lakefront is still the way it is. But hey, Democratic Socialist is going to be in there soon, so not to worry. Not to worry. I'm sure there'll be lots of safe spaces and stuff. Anyway. So on to our last segment here, which of course, we bring good things to good things. And to round off the good, I don't know if we talked about this before. This story may be a couple weeks old now. I think
it's a week old.
Yeah. But on the good side of it, Tim Ryan is not running for Ohio governor, leaving the door wide open for Amy Acton to slide right in there and win the primary. Apparently, she's polling very well. I keep hearing on X, seeing on X. They keep saying she's polling very well, ahead of Vivek, supposedly. We'll see.
Yeah, selective polling numbers. But we need to do an episode where we just talk about the governor race, because there is some. I guess there's some surprising takes on Vivek.
Oh yeah, I've heard
surprising from my standpoint that when I heard we had some listeners send me some messages on X, and I was like, okay, no kidding, this is how they're thinking about him.
So. Fill me in.
No, I think we need to do a deeper dive on each candidate.
I've heard some things too about.
Well, some of the I guess the
criticisms,
scandalous stuff he did with his business. Okay, this is my favorite one. I had a listener call him Obama Dot.
Oh.
Basically, he's nothing more than Obama, just because he's just a smooth talker and selling you.
He is a smooth talker.
BS.
Definitely
but
is a smooth talker.
I think there is a little bit more substance to him than Obama. But
yes,
this person thinks he's going to lose to Amy, and I'm trying to think of his age. I would put him into an older millennial.
I mean, women.
Oh, I think most sensible women. Not that there's many. Sorry, ladies. They're not gonna vote for Amy Acton.
Okay, I mean, we said that about Kamala too, and then they voted for her in droves.
Did they?
I mean, it was the only.
I don't know a single woman that voted for her. I can't say that, but I can.
I can say one. I think.
Pardon me?
I think I know of one that you know that would voted for her.
Yes, but I can't think of another. And I talked to guys at work and stuff, and all their wives who normally vote I wouldn't say they normally vote Democrat, but they definitely lean that way. Even the younger ones, they didn't vote for Kamala because she was crazy.
Right. But if you look at the exit and all that stuff, there's only one category where Trump didn't either win or increase by a good margin, and that's women. He actually, the only category he lost votes in the last election was to women. And when you look at a lot of
about that,
yeah, I'm pretty sure. He did not win the woman vote.
Well, I know he didn't win it.
I think it got worse. I don't think it got better.
I don't know.
But I could be wrong. Could be wrong. Regardless, it was the only one he didn't either increase or win outright.
I could see not increasing, but I have a feeling he didn't get worse.
Maybe I could be wrong, but I thought it was the only one that dropped. Everything else went up or he won, and that was the one that got. I could be wrong, but regardless, I think even the last election, this last one we just came up, this off-year election, I think they were also saying, repeal the 16th.
19th.
That's sorry, 19th.
Which I agree. Get rid of it. Even my wife agrees. For crying out loud.
I don't know. I could see a lot of women going, yeah, it's still better than Vivek, but I don't know. We'll see.
I mean,
don't think so. Listen to her talk for a few minutes, you would hopefully not.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't. Yeah. But you know who's going to watch a debate between them two?
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? Oh my God.
I would consider myself politically involved besides the show. And I don't think I've ever watched a governor's debate.
This one I have to, because
this one I will.
This one's going to be a total. It's going to go off the tracks, man.
I mean, I'm not sure where you're coming. I mean, you may be right though, because if you do recall, I think Amy Acton was described as this, like the greatest thing we had in Ohio. Remember? So you might be right. They might be right. She might be winning. They might, not you might be right, but they might.
I don't think so, but I think the reason Tim dropped out or just decided not to, because I don't think Democrats have a chance.
Yeah. I think that's if he had a chance to win, I think he would take the chance. But and you kind of see that as it keeps going on and on and on. People keep asking them, you're like, hey, you really don't want to. You really don't think you can win. So otherwise, you probably would. But that is part of the good things segment, because you don't have to listen to him talk too much. He'll just be off to the side.
Another thing is that she's raised $1.35 million so far, and I think Vivek is up to almost $10 million at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's because he's an evil capitalist. Next on the good things list of things that are good is the News Channel 5 story, Redefining Retail. Small businesses team up for hyper-local market. Share the wealth inside Menor Mall. So this is a story about a person who started open up an open spot, because I'm assuming there's many in the malls now. And I think a year or two ago started this whole, let's get some local producers, or it's more like it's almost like a little craft fair. Looks like a lot of local creators or producers of stuff to get them into one place where people in a mall can go shop instead of just the online stores. And I guess it was such a huge hit that they kept the store open all year. And this year they've expanded to this spot next door, because that one happens to be open too, and they've expanded it for the holidays, and you can put in, you could submit your goods, your wares or whatever, and put it, and you have a little spot in a store at a mall. I think this not a bad idea. What do you think?
No, it's great.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It makes me actually want to go see. I mean, I'm probably not going to drive the men to go see this, but you never know. But it might be some cool stuff in there. It felt like when they were going through the story, almost like it's a mini art fair or something. You walk through and you got somebody making cutting boards, and then you got somebody with canvases over here and that kind of stuff. Kind of cool. But those places are nice for Christmas gifts.
Yeah, I haven't been to the Great Lakes Mall in a very long time. I remember when I was younger, I'd go there. That was a great mall. I hope they're kind of keeping up maintenance and all that compared to other malls I've seen.
I hope so. Yeah. So it was one of the newer ones around that time, probably.
It was newer at the time, and it was also it was bigger than any other mall at the time.
Yeah, definitely was bigger. So they've got all kinds of stuff there. Go check it out. Got the link in the show notes, and they've got throughout the holidays, special events and raffles and all kinds of stuff to get people involved. But if you're looking for Christmas shopping, for some unique gifts, and if you're sick of ordering off Amazon, well, get up off your butt, go to the mall and check out what they got there from some local people. And, support the local economy. And that checks that one off the list. Hyper local mall. Now the next one, I'm curious. This is a local band that you had put up there?
It's a local artist. She goes by Anita Keys. Her name is Anita Hertzog. But if you look her up on Spotify under Anita Keys, all one word, she's put out a new Christmas song.
If you check the link in the show notes in the blog, you go to the scene article, there's actually a link there. You click on it, it'll take you right to the Spotify.
Yeah, the song is called Wintertime.
Yeah, I think actually the song is good. It's not something I'm going to jam to that much, but it seems like a good song. It's about her life growing up in Cleveland. It says, I just don't know if it's a Christmas song.
I think it just reminds her of that time.
Yeah, it's called Wintertime.
Yeah.
But they're calling in the article, she finally released a Christmas song. And so I listened to it. I'm like, ooh, new Christmas music. You can always use a little new Christmas music, but really not very Christmassy. But
I set it aside, the story aside, just because it promotes
I know.
local artists.
I'm not trying to throw shade.
The song, in my opinion, yeah. But
it's okay. You could see that she has something there, but it's not my forte. I was hoping for something Christmassy. They said Christmas music, and I'm thinking it's going to be at least something about a tree or something. But
yeah,
but it's cool. See,
I don't know if all Christmas songs are like that, but that's why it's so hard to put one out. The last one that hit was, I think, a song by Mariah Carey was probably the last one, and I think last year Wham had a couple top 1 or top 10 hits with one of their Christmas songs. I forget what it was called, but it was put out in 1984. So
Christmas
why it came back, I don't know. It might have been in a movie or something. I think
because we were coming home from getting the tree last night, and I was like, I asked Siri to play some Christmas music, and the first song was Wham.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why that got popular again.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's not what I expected. And I pressed forward, and my 15-year-old was like, wait, no, go back. I want to hear that. I was like, what? So it's somewhere on social media somewhere that she's probably heard that. I think she's heard it before. I just wasn't sure, because we've played it in a mix, I'm sure, just listening to generic Christmas music. But I don't think, I was like, you know this song? But yeah, good local artist, and she's got a lot of stuff on Spotify, so check it out. Anita Keys. And I think that's show 37, Tom. I think that's all. I think we got it all down, didn't we? I got everything checked off. Wait, one more check. New Christmas music. Oh yeah, subscribe and save. Subscribe to the show. Share it with your friends, your family. It is that time of year when you're sitting down trying to figure out how to talk to your racist MAGA uncle. Tell them to listen to the Crooked Rivercast. You might like it. We really appreciate your time. Thank you. And that's the show. Talk to you next week.
Peace.